All right, so let's take a look at what we're seeing. So in our crawl space here, our problem is that we're having some structural failures. The reason why we have that is because we actually have very high elevated moisture, which has brought about some mold microbial growth and wood rot, damage to the wood itself. The reason why that's happened is a couple different things. For one, our crawl space is built slightly into the ground, so you can see the layer where the water is actually going to wick through the walls because masonry is porous. We have a French drain in here, but we have, as far as I can find, there's no pump and there's no exit line for it. So we actually see in the areas where it's our lowest point of the crawl space, we can see on top, if you look over there, on top of those rocks, they're a little bit more gray and clean. But down over here, as we're lower, we can see that mud is just filled up on top of the rocks and gotten past it, as this is still wet and cracking from differing times of elevated moisture coming in and then drying out. That's what happens to the ground when it cracks. Our moisture content, 31% over here in our taller spot of the crawl space. We should be seeing lower. Normal crawl spaces, even when you don't have a vapor barrier, in a ventilated crawl space, you should be seeing anywhere between 8 to 12 is normal in the summertime. So 30% is really, really high. Of course, some of the moisture is coming in through the ground, and as we see, there's no vapor barrier to stop it from evaporating into the wood, which is why we've got various areas of major structural damage. We come into the bathroom area. Down over here, we're gonna see our first location. Part of this is likely due to some sort of leak in the past in the actual bathroom area, because we see it's still damp and non-existent. That's supposed to be that. Completely non-existent. Same thing as we come down through to the wall girder. This is right underneath the wall in that bedroom. It's completely rotted out. And we see a similar thing right underneath where the shower is. And if we come up here to our entryway, this is the same problem that we're having. But of course, over here, especially we're in the middle of the crawl space, we're connected to the deck, so there's going to be less vents. Our vents are a little further away. We have the most mold, mildew, and moisture damage. We're seeing 25%, very high. A lot of our insulation is just falling down from the moisture. Here's our walls. We have a joist that is actually just completely fallen down from damage, and tons of mold. I can probe straight through that very easily, and it's cracking all the way through. And that continues, unfortunately, for a good ways. It is dripping wet, practically raining in here. That is some of the most mold I've ever seen. So we want to make sure that we address, obviously, some of these structural failures. The hallways, entryway sinking. This is why you've got that sag. But if we don't address the moisture, then this is just going to continue happening even further down in various areas of the crawl space. Especially, we saw even over there 31% moisture content. Over here was about 25 as you're getting close. That's 100% wet right there. Not surprising.